Chapter 21, C.J. Sciutto. I was never a light sleeper before Mom married Marcus. Living with a human time bomb teaches you to keep one eye open, even in the middle of the night. There's no predicting when my stepfather's short fuse is going to run out, and I'll get dragged out of bed at 3 in the morning. For Marcus, the cause of the freak out and the person he freaks out on don't have to be connected. I could be dreaming about unicorns dancing on feather clouds and still get a black eye because a West Coast baseball game he wanted to watch got rained out. So when I hear the trapdoor open, I'm off the couch in a heartbeat, standing at the ready, poised like a panther in the darkness. The gonging of feet descending the ladder strikes terror in my heart. Someone has found the fort, found me. My first thought is of Luke and Jaeger, since they've been stalking us for a while, getting ever closer. That would be bad enough, but as my fevered brain sifts dizzily through the possibilities, I realize that anyone else would be even worse. I could be trapped underground with some random stranger. My first impulse is to shine my phone light on the intruder so I'll know what I'm up against, but that would pinpoint me. Right now, the element of surprise might be the only advantage I have. I hear the clunk of the main power switch. The air pump goes off and comes on again, but there's no light since I've loosened the 3 bulbs. That means whoever it is has information about how the fort works. I'm still half asleep, though, and with my heart pounding, my mind fuzzy and in complete darkness, I can't reason out what that might mean. All I know is that I have to defend myself, and the best defense is a good offense. Careful to make 0 sound, I shuffle forward on bare feet. The darkness is near total, but I sense a faint glow coming from the entrance hatchway. I can barely spot a figure standing there with a light source, a phone, bleeding out of a front pocket. I don't even think, I just act. I hurl myself at the intruder's hips in a flying tackle. The guy goes down with a major "ooh," and as he does, his knee comes up and conks me in the jaw. I see stars, and I also see something else, briefly lit by the light of a flashlight app escaping a jeans pocket. The horror-stricken face of Mitchell Worth scrambling up the ladder and out the trap door like he's being chased by a hungry T-Rex. I open my mouth to call his name, but at the last second I stop myself. What explanation could I possibly have for being at the fort in the middle of the night except for the plain truth, that I'm sleeping here? I don't want anybody to know that. Why would Mitchell come to the fort in the middle of the night? It's a good question, but I realize there doesn't have to be an answer. I mean, we're talking about Mitchell here. I'm sure he has a reason, but we're never going to know it, just like we're never going to know why he decided to fake sick and drop off the face of the earth. I screw the bulbs the rest of the way in and make sure the trapdoor is properly closed and covered. I'm not too concerned that Mitchell's coming back. He's probably still running. Sure enough, a few minutes later, my phone pings. It's the group chat with a bulletin from Mitchell. "Red alert! Somebody found Peru!" Classic Mitchell. If it's worth 1 exclamation point, it's worth 7. I hold my breath, waiting for the replies from the guys. 5 minutes go by. 10. Happily, everybody else slept through this crisis. And if they rush over here first thing in the morning, I can just say that I'm here investigating the alarm, same as them. Going back to sleep isn't an option. I'm too keyed up. So I rewatch Tentacles in Mitchell's honor. It's the movie that freaked him out even more than Jaws. I'm the only one of my friends who can watch scary movies alone. Once you've experienced Marcus in real life, a giant octopus from some 1970s special effects department seems pretty so what else is new. A little after 7 a.m., when the guys wake up for school and check their phones, the group chat comes to life. "What's going on? Who found Peru? Was it L&J? I text, "At Peru RN right now. All well. Not sure what Mitchell meant." Mitchell fires back, "You weren't there last night. There was a guy and he tried to kill me." The message is kind of slowed down at that point, and it isn't hard to figure out why. I mean, we all love Mitchell, but we understand how weird he can be. And these days, he's pretty much near his weirdness peak. So I add, we can talk at school. Mitchell, no fair, still sick. We meet in the playground where I realize the guys are more rattled than I expected over Mitchell's claims of an intruder at the fort. Hey, he may be an oddball, but he doesn't make things up, Jason reasons, struggling to control his loud voice. I mean, he says this guy attacked him. I shrug. He was out in the woods in the middle of the night, probably scared out of his wits. Maybe he tripped over a root and thought somebody grabbed his leg. Ricky's unconvinced. He said he was in the fort, not outside of it. He knows the difference between inside and outside. All I can tell you is that I dropped by this morning and everything was fine. I tell them, no strangers, no attackers, nobody grabbed my leg. Evan frowns. We're talking about mysterious strangers, but let's get it out in the open about who we really mean is my brother and his sleazy friend Jaeger. If anybody found the fort, it was those two. Nobody found the fort, I insist. I was there this morning. Nothing's changed. Well, maybe that's what they want us to believe, Jason argues darkly. Maybe they're setting a trap. Luke and Jaeger may be older and stronger and meaner, but they're not mind readers, I challenge him. They can't get to the fort unless one of us tells them about it. I didn't. Did you guys? Ricky looks thoughtful. Well, there's only one person who knows about the fort who didn't before. Janelle. Jason's eyes bulge. Are you accusing my girlfriend of selling us out? You're the guy who showed up out of nowhere. You're the guy who really isn't anybody's friend. Maybe it was you. It wasn't Ricky or Janelle, I jump in. It wasn't anybody. We'll go after school. You'll see. It's a pretty tense day with all of us sharing classes and passing each other in the halls. And to make matters worse, Mitchell is blowing up our phones with warnings that Peru has been compromised, infiltrated, permeated, penetrated, and extirpated. I can picture him sitting at home with a thesaurus searching for a word that will get through to us about how much trouble we're in. I feel sort of bad that I could put an end to all this just by telling the truth, that I was the mysterious intruder who extirpated the fort, whatever that means. But that's not something I'm willing to admit, even to my best friends. It's not just my secret. It belongs to my mother as much as me. Besides, they'd never believe it. The guys are completely convinced that Marcus is stepfather of the year. And if they knew the truth, what could they do about it? Since I'm the only one who knows there was no intruder, I'm the only one who isn't surprised when we go after school and find that the fort is totally untouched. I don't get to say I told you so, though, because Janelle comes with us. And while we pronounce the place 100% okay, she has another description for it. This whole place smells like week-old t-shirts. Now, I gotta hand it to Janelle. She's pretty sharp, although I can vouch for the fact that some of the t-shirts have been lying around longer than that. I was wondering why Jason has been carrying a giant sack over his shoulder. He dumps it on the floor, and out tumbles a mop, a bucket, cleaners, sponges, a broom, and a collection of those air freshener things you hang in a closet or a car. Oh, come on, Evan groans. The whole point of having a fort is to get out of stuff you're forced to do at home. And then Jason launches into a rehearsed speech about how just because we have our own place doesn't mean we shouldn't treat it with respect. It sounds so un-Jason that I have to laugh. That sets off Evan, and pretty soon Ricky is cackling into his sleeve. The best part is that Jason starts to crack up too, even though he forces himself to push through to the end. And this from the kid who flunked public speaking in 6th grade because the only part he was good at was volume. By that time, the four of us are holding on to each other for support, and even Janelle can't help herself from giggling a little. Okay, I get it, Ricky admits. We're cave people. Maybe this place could smell better. Now, I'm as anti-chore as the next guy, but it occurs to me that this isn't such a terrible idea. A good cleanup might hide the evidence that I've been living here. I'm in, I announce, trying to sound as reluctant as possible. I grab a mop and a spray bottle of disinfectant and go to work on the floor. Jason shoots me a grateful look and starts wiping down the counter with a moist towelette. And before you know it, we're all spread out around the fort, sweeping and scrubbing. Janelle is wiping 40-year-old dust off our supply of food cans. Hey, you guys are good at this. Keep it up and you're going to lose your status as slobs. Now, for some reason, that makes everybody smile and work even harder. And inside a half hour, the place is spotless and we're all high-fiving in a celebratory mood. I'll bet Bennett Delamere himself never knew this place could look so good, Evan comments. I think back to the video we found on day one, Delamere talking to the invasion force he believed had already killed him. He definitely didn't mention anything about cleanliness in there. And then again, he was a multimillionaire who probably never had to clean anything in his life. But I'm actually kind of grateful to Janelle for this cleaning idea. I'm the one who sleeps here. Plus, it's taken everybody's mind off of Mitchell's story about the mysterious intruder. And she's right, there was kind of a funk to the fort, although none of us can agree on exactly what it smelled like. Evan said the scent of wet newspaper in the recycling bin after a rainy night. Jason called it Ogre's Toe Jam. Janelle gave it an actual name, Eau de Armpit. I'm the only one who knows what it really is. Unwashed laundry stored underground with a hint of overwatered cactus plant. And anyway, it's gone now. Not totally gone, Ricky tells me, wrinkling his nose. I can still notice it a little. Dude, I think it's on your clothes. I try to make a joke out of it. Yeah, I guess we've all spent a little too much time down here. Ricky looks thoughtful. Well, that's weird. I smell it on you, but not on the rest of us. Uh-oh, I guess his nose went to magnet school too, not just his brain. Jason tries to dust his cactus. The brownish stalks wilt a little more.